Hello, gentlemen. Whoops. Sliding things around. Excuse me. How are ya? You doing well? Are you knowing that you're loved? Are you knowing that you're accepted? Are you healing your shit? Have you been healing your shit lately? Because that's what's going on in the planet. Opportunity to heal our shit so that we can show up in relationships in a healthy way, in a loving way. I'm really excited to answer your questions. I'm really excited to be able to support you in this container. I'm really excited to put on my AirPods. And they connected. Did they connect? Connect. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, guys, good stuff going on right now. Good stuff. I don't know if any of you are tapped into spirituality or any of that stuff, but man, we are in a Mercury's retrograde right now, which means wonderful opportunity to evaluate the things that are not working and to and to find a better path that's more in alignment with our heart and what we really want. So if things feel turbulent or if you feel unsettled right now, it's normal. It's going on all over the planet. It's okay. You're loved. You're accepted. You're safe. You're so, so, so safe. So, so safe. So right now we just welcome love into this container. And we just say, love, would you just support us as we open up our hearts to get very deep things answered? Maybe not some deep things. But love, would you just support us right now? I just release love. Anyone who's watching this right now, anyone who is... anyone who's going to watch this right now, we just anchor this with love. We partner with love. And I just release a safety with love for any person who's watching this where love doesn't feel safe. Grace, would you just partner with their heart so that love can feel safe? Yeah, so that love can feel like home. So that love can feel like it's nurturing. So love, we just invite you into this very sacred time where I get to pour in love on these men and their hearts. What an honor. What an honor to get to love you. And I'm sure, I don't even have to ask if you've heard that. I'm sure you have not heard that in a long time, but I'm going to release that and say that into your heart right now, that as a woman, that it's an honor to get to serve your heart, that it is an honor to get to love your heart, that your heart is sacred, that you are special, that you're worthy of love. And despite life's circumstances and setbacks, that those are not the governing factor into your future, that your future is marked with love. And so I just release a deep, deep grace, especially to those. I feel like a lot of men who come here are hurting. And so with all that hurt, I say your hurt is so loved. That there's no shame in your hurt. There's no shame in the betrayal of the past. There's no shame in the setbacks and the failures of the past. That love is the redeeming factor. And it is for the sake of love that we live. So I just release love to every place inside of you that is hurting, that feels scared, that feels angry, that feels frustrated, that feels confused, that feels lost, that feels alone. Love, we welcome you. We welcome you to saturate their hearts, to saturate their minds, to saturate their bodies, to saturate their spirit, to saturate their homes, their environments. Love, that you would just go in and fill their atmosphere right now. right now. Love, we just release you to fill their entire atmosphere right now. So guys, I just welcome you. Gosh, man, I should start all of these like this because even I feel that love. So with that said, I'm going to put on the trusty glasses and we're going to get down to answering the questions of your heart because your heart matters. Your questions are valid. Even the crazy questions, sometimes the crazy questions, I'm sure some of you guys see some of the crazy things that men ask and go, man, I'm sure you're like, why are you asking these stupid things? Why are you wasting her time? But behind every crazy question is a hurting heart. And I recognize that. And that's why I take time to answer some of the crazy questions, because I know that beneath that is a hurting heart just going, I just want to be loved, as we all do. We all want to be loved. It's our God-given right. We're created from source of love. That's why we're always feeling in need of it. And it's a healthy need, and it's a healthy desire to want to be loved. So, Robert Rice says, I'm crazy about this woman that's in my life after my wife passed away on February 17th of this year before, and I'm 60, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Robert, one thing I would ask is, sometimes I would ask you, have you gone through a grieving process? Because I get where you're at. I've never lost a partner like this, so I don't get it in that regards, but I've gone through breakups and things like that. And when you go through something traumatic, like losing someone that you love, the innate thing that we want is to be comforted, to be restored. And oftentimes we will go to another person to do that. And I believe that as human beings, we have the capacity to heal one another. And we also have the capacity to heal ourselves. And so I would ask you that maybe this woman that you're going after, that maybe she may not be that person, that there may be friends and loved ones and family members. And so that you would reach out to them for support, and that you would not, I'm not saying you're doing this, but I just, in my imagination, it's what my therapist used to always say when he would propose something. In my imagination, Arica. In my imagination, Robert. I think a lot of times it's natural to want to get love from someone, but that this stranger can't be our full source. That we're open to receive love and comfort and healing from ourselves, from God's source, from the people who are already in our lives, and making sure that we don't neglect those containers of love. So go easy on yourself. You're not doing anything wrong, but you do want to give yourself some space to heal and to grieve. And sometimes women can feel that. Sometimes women can feel when a man's not ready. And that in itself will detour us to go in another direction. But Robert, don't forget that you're the most important person. You are the most important person. Ninja Wolf, you just touched my heart. Once this pandemic nonsense is over, is it a good time for me to go back to making contact with one of these single women again? Yeah. Is that a real question? Of course, darling. Of course it is. Demetrius Avenger Ironman. Hello, and my question is, I believe in getting to know a person and a 5-month rule for sex because emotions make reading person challenging if have sex in 3 months. Yes, I think having sex definitely brings sex definitely adds a different layer to the connection. And sometimes because the sex is so good, the sex can be so good that we get addicted to the person, and we don't actually, because we're addicted to this sexual experience. So I honor you in wanting to take time to see, hey, do I actually connect with this person, or is it just fun sex? Because fun sex is fleeting, but an emotional connection, a spiritual connection, intellectual connection, All these things need to be a part of the equation. But I believe that a sexual connection is also very powerful. If that's not there, makes for a very challenging time, because sex is fun, right? So honor yourself, honor your boundary and what feels right for you. Ronald Summers, hi Erica. I have a nephew who's married to a beautiful wife. He gets jealous when they go out and when guys look at her. What does he need to do to not get angry at his wife? Well, typically people who get jealous, there's also like a form of, there's typically a wound of abandonment and betrayal that they haven't addressed. And so they become very keenly aware of trying to protect themselves by I've got to shut this WhatsApp off. It's just buzzing nonstop. So they become very aware of what's going on around, and those things are valid. I don't want to say that they're not valid, but oftentimes when a person is jealous, they try to control their outer world as opposed to controlling what's going on inside of them. So I would ask your nephew, hey, like, maybe there's something deeper going on here. Like, I get it. It's not fun, if other men are drooling over your wife and it's inappropriate. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with someone acknowledging someone else's beauty, but when it crosses boundaries, it's inappropriate. But just say, man, I'm more concerned about you. What's going on underneath? Where is that coming from? And have you ever taken the time to look at that? Daniel Millsap says, hi, pretty lady. I have a question for you. Is it normal that after being divorced twice, that I don't look at love as the same way in the end, just for birds? Is there a way for me to believe love is real? Yeah, absolutely. When we go through a divorce, I mean, there's so much that we don't realize that goes on. It's a breaking of a covenant. It breaks our heart. It breaks it feels like our spirit and our soul gets broken in the process. There's a lot that happens underneath. And most of the time we just go, oh, that person was an asshole or it just didn't work. But we never realize, like, okay, they may have been an asshole, but what has gone on in my heart as a result? And so, to believe in love, Daniel, to believe in love comes from the heart. You can't believe in love just from the mind. It's a heart journey. I think that's why a lot of advice on my emotional warrior page, I wrote something quite brilliant, and I wrote it myself, and I have to say it's quite brilliant. And I say on the emotional warrior page, I say, why has most dating and relationship advice failed you? And I say, because most of it goes through the logic. And I believe that logic is very important, but logic is a byproduct to the heart. The heart comes up with the desires. A heart is a cornerstone. It's a foundation. It's a premise of our life. And if we don't fix and we don't heal that foundation, then everything that the logic builds is based off of a broken foundation. So I would say, as you find the courage to look at what's going on in your heart about your belief system about love, because that's your foundation, is your heart, that finding the courage to address that, I really would encourage you to do the Emotional Warrior Program. Absolutely, because it's all about taking you through a journey of the heart, of reclaiming the heart so that you can have that warrior's heart. But if we don't reclaim the heart and we just keep changing the logic, we just keep adding different tactics on it. It's like, if a car's not working and you go, well, I'm going to give it a different paint job. I'm going to put some new windows on it. I'm going to put new tires on it. Now the engine's broken. You got to go work on the engine. And so I think a lot of advice, when people don't, I think advice is very helpful, but I think if the heart's not healed and if the heart's not looked at, then it's like taking a car with a broken engine, and the engine being your heart, and going, let's put a paint job on that. Let's find a different way to approach her. Okay, that's changing the windows. Eventually, you're going to have to deal with the engine. So I would say, Daniel, this is an issue of the heart. And you being able to ask your heart and develop a relationship and addressing the things that where your heart goes, love just doesn't feel safe anymore. Love doesn't feel reliable anymore and addressing that. I really encourage you to do my Emotional Warrior program, because that is the full journey of what that program is about. And the men who are doing it, it is literally life-changing. And I share a lot of my personal journey in that as well, to help give you guys um, a safe place to kind of look at someone else's life while reflecting back on yours. So I'll put that in the chat. Chris says, Arica, what does a man say to a woman on a date when she asks, are you dating other people? That's a great question. You know, at the end of the day, you can't lie. Here's a great way to address that, Chris. You ask the woman, first, when people ask questions, I don't always feel innately responsible to answer them right away, because I want to know where they're coming from. And so you can ask her, I'm curious as to why you're asking me that question. I'm happy to answer your question. So comfort her in the fact that I'm happy to answer your question, but I'm curious why you're asking me that. And because sometimes I think as women, when we ask that question, it's we're ready for commitment, but we don't have the courage to say that, or we're thinking of commitment with the guy and we don't have the courage to just come out and say that. So we almost project it on the guy and go, well, what are you doing? And it's like, well, this conversation would just be easier if you told me what you actually wanted. And she may say, I don't know what I want. Okay, well, maybe that's a journey you need to go on. You need to figure that out for yourself before you start evaluating what's going on with me. That's the underlying thing. But I would say the short answer, that's the deep heart answer. The short answer is why I'm curious as to why you're asking that, which I'm happy to answer it. And just say, right now, yes, I'm exploring other people, and hopefully I will find someone that there's a mutual connection so that we can build a commitment from there. If that is where you are going, if you're just having fun, then you got to communicate that, because you don't want to set her up for some false expectations. But I don't believe in lying, because that just becomes part of your character. In my experience, when I've seen clients lie, when I've seen people in relationships lie, it just becomes a part of your character. And people, I mean, for me, if I see someone lying in something like that, it's like, how can you trust them with anything then? So you don't ever want to put your character in question. It's not worth it for anyone or for any situation. I hope that helps. Thank you, Jason. Jason's home and ready to learn. Tyler says, you look beautiful today. Thank you, darling. Joe Bird says, my question, if I'm always the one giving, should I step back and I get little from a woman? Absolutely. I think people who are great givers also need to create space for them to receive, because I say, that's the circle of love. Love is like, there's giving and there's receiving. If you're always just giving, but you're not receiving, it's not love. If you're just constantly receiving from people, but you're not giving to them, it's not love. And so it takes vulnerability to be able to receive from someone, but you absolutely should step back and allow her to give to you, but also make it clear on how you would like to receive love, because a lot of times we can have these expectations in our head of, I want to be loved this way. And the other person has no idea that that's going on in your mind. So you need to get clear on how you like to receive love. Dave says, happy to see Eric again. I'm glad to have you here, darling. Since last week, your interview went well. Congratulations, my darling. I'm very proud of you. And your date canceled 3 hours before, then ghosted you. Not cool. You're like, well, thank you for showing me how you show up in life. And that doesn't resonate with me. So adios. Charles is saying, I'm considering trying ketamine to cure my depression. I don't know I've never done ketamine. I don't know anything about ketamine. It's like a horse tranquilizer. I don't know anything about that, but I would really, really encourage you to seek a professional if you can, a therapist, a psychiatrist, just because the thing is, like, your chemicals in your body, that's not something you want to fuck with. So just be very gentle with yourself before you start diagnosing yourself. Make sure that you see a counselor and ask them what's the best approach. There may be a chemical imbalance going on. You may have some unprocessed emotions that need to be navigated through. Most of the time we do, because no one's ever really taught, hey, this is how you navigate through your emotions. So it's quite common that most of us get anxiety and depression because it's all this trapped emotions that need to come out. I would really, before you start taking yourself into the chemistry lab and experimenting on yourself, I really would encourage you, my darling, to seek out some professional help. Kaylin says, hello, my precious daughter, Arica. Oh, well, that's a very lovely thing to say. Thank you, darling. Sean says, good evening, my beautiful friend. Hi, Sean. It's good to have your presence here. Cole says, hey, Arica, who are you giving all your love to? I feel like I'm giving my love out to a lot of people, and I'm also receiving a lot of love back. So I'm a very, very blessed woman. Ronak, I owe you an email, darling. So I'm going to put that on my to-do list right. Whoa, I've got a bunch of stuff on my phone right now. Ronak, I'm putting it on my app right now. Email Ronak. I have this app called Todoist. I'm telling you what, it helps keep my life in order. I love you so much, Ronak. I really do love you. And I'm just so glad to have you in my life. Ronak and I did a coaching journey together. He's one of my clients. And I mean, I have so many favorite clients. I feel like most of my clients are my favorites because I get amazing men. I'm just blessed, knock on wood, very blessed to get amazing clients. But Ronak is one of those extra special ones. Bill H. Hi, Arica. New to the channel. My first live. Bill, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. Hopefully my little love offering at the beginning really resonated with you and made you feel loved. Oh, thank you, Dave. He says, Bill H. Arica is amazing and you'll love her. Thank you, darling. Mayhair Justice says, would you come to SoCal already so I can introduce you to a Mediterranean restaurant that serves delicious cuisine? That sounds delicious. I'm hoping to get into Europe and the States this year. That is where I am headed. And then back to Bali, of course. Because you guys know how much I love Bali. Oh my gosh, there's so many questions and I'm going quite slow. Jacob. Jacob is Jacob. I just adore Jacob. Jacob says that's very wise, Jacob. Jacob said, yeah, little compromise on honesty yields bigger compromises. Ooh, that is a mic drop right there. Just absolutely. Wow, that's profound. Well said, Jacob. Well said. Gustavo says, what does it mean when a woman stares at you from afar? Well, if you're someone that she's into, that means she's attracted to you. And so you should probably go and talk to her, Gustavo. You should probably walk up to her and say, I feel like you're staring me down. I feel like you want to know my name. So here it is. I'm Gustavo. What's your name, beautiful woman? Try that. Eric Renberg says, my girlfriend moved. I want to thank you for all your help. You are so welcome, my darling. I don't know. What do you mean? What do you mean she moved? You're so welcome, though. Kaylin says, question, why would a woman sexually entice me right after we've had sex? Oh, because us women have a really high sex drive. I know that we're patient with you guys, and we know you guys, some of you guys, most men need a break afterwards. But I mean, listen, women can orgasm 10, 20 times, where I know, man, it's not fair. You can only do it once. But as a woman, I guess we get that because, we get a period every month. So it's like God's way of saying, like, girl, I'm gonna take care of you. And so, yeah, women can literally have 10 to 20 orgasms in one session. So that's probably why she was enticing you, because she was horny and she was ready to come again. Joe Bird says, do women lie about having a boyfriend but want to keep a guy around who will always do things for her? Yes, there are some women who are selfish and they don't care and they will do those things. And for those kind of women, I say stay away. J. King Snake. Damn, you be looking fine and fresh as hell. Well, thank you, baby. Thank you. Brian Day says, Arica, I think I'm a sex addict. I look for the bad girls, even though I should look at a commitment. Why am I like this? I wish I wasn't, but at night I turn into a person that has to have it. That's a very strong thing. It's very, I think there's a form of addiction that when we go to things that end up hurting us, it is a form of addiction. And I'm just curious, Brian, if you've reached out to a therapist or anyone to discuss that. I think the fact that you're asking me here says that this is your first step, which congratulations, good for you. I would encourage you with the next step to consult someone and just say, hey, I think this could be a problem, and I'd like to get some input and perhaps some guidance on this. Gary Kindred says, hi, Arica. I hope you're having a nice evening. It's actually noon for me here in Bali. He says, with all that had to go through this past year, I think it's going to be a very interesting year for men and women getting into new relationships. Yeah, I think the beauty of it is this pandemic has really it's really made us evaluate what really matters. I think all of us have been so caught up in what society has told us is important, distracting ourselves with social media, getting into careers, getting into relationships, buying shit, cars, homes, all these things. And I think that Corona has really made us just stop with all the busyness, all the distractions to go, hey, what does my heart want? What's really going on inside? And at the end of the day, we are wired for relationship. We're biologically wired for relationships. The book, The Attachment Styles, the guy says, they've done studies with children and, they took their mothers away and the kids just screamed. And I'm butchering up the explanation, but he says, with research, we're biologically wired. And I think that when we distract ourselves with social media, with busyness, with addictions, all these things, with consumption, I just need to buy, I need to consume. When we get busy with all that, it distracts us from what we actually really need, what our heart really needs, what we're wired for. So I think that Corona has kind of silenced a lot of the distractions for us. And it's made us really tap into like what actually makes my heart come alive. A lot of times you guys have asked me, why did you move to Bali? And for me, Bali really, I told my mother, I said, Mom, I know I'm very far away from the United States, but there's not a day that goes by here in Bali that my heart doesn't feel alive. Even on shit days, I can say every day here is magical, because it's not. This week for me, it's been intense. I don't know about you guys, but I've been healing some shit and it's good, but man, it's been a journey. But I feel alive even in that every single day. And so, yeah, it's really resurrecting our hearts and our desires, and where we're not just reacting to life, but we're listening to ourselves and going, how do I respond to that? At least in my imagination, that's what I hope is what's going on in the world. Guys, I love you. Oh, Alexander says, I liked you for now. I'm watching for the first time. Thank you so much. Thank you. And if this really does resonate with you, make sure that you give it a thumbs up, because it tells YouTube like, hey, this woman is providing stuff that's changing people's lives, and we need to share this with more people. I will answer this one last question from Robert Joseph. He says, Arica, how can I get my girlfriend back? We were once very serious planning our future. She said she knows I love her, but didn't feel it. She moved out last week. I now understand how important affirmations are. I would have to know a little bit more about this because when you're saying how important affirmations are, I get a sense that maybe you weren't showing up by vocalizing how you felt about her. And then over time, it sounds like maybe I could be completely wrong, but maybe she got a bit worn out. Like I'm just waiting and waiting to get what I need from this relationship, and it's just not coming. And so when a woman feels like she's not getting what her heart really needs, and she tells a man and he doesn't do it, then it's like in her mind, it's never going to come, which actually isn't true. Men can actually really get awakened to their hearts and really be supportive, loving partners when they tap into their hearts. So I'm not sure. Someone just said, I noticed Arica's Wonder Woman bracelet. Wow, Robert, I love that. He says, you're correct. Do you have any coaching sessions available? Reach out to me on my Work With Me page. There's an application there and you can fill that out. But yeah, Robert, my advice to you is really allow yourself to go within and go, why wasn't I sharing these things with her? And when you understand that, having a conversation with her, going like, I think this is why I wasn't showing up. And I hope you write all this down. And I'm really sorry for that because all along, you deserve that. And really make a commitment to go on your journey of changing what's ever going on inside that keeps you holding back instead of showing up and really address that. Because at the end of the day, women don't come back unless they see significant change, or they may come back, but if they don't see the significant change there, then they leave for good. Okay. So I hope that supports you. I felt like I was saying something else and then my mind just kind of went into his direction. Guys, I love you so much. Thank you for letting me get to love on you. I'm almost at 100,000 subscribers. Thanks to you guys. I'm so, so grateful. My website says no times available in June. That's bizarre. Let me go look at my Calendly. That should not be. But guys, almost at 100,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. Robert, you can contact me on my website. Go do that, darling, on the contact section. Thank you guys for your support. It really means so much to me. Me and my team are going to be putting something very special together for the 100,000 subscribers. So hopefully we will have everything together once I hit that number. And yeah, it's something that we want to share with you guys, and hopefully it's something that will make you all very happy. So I love you all very, very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for opening up your hearts to my love and to my guidance. And I will see you guys next week. Also, as always, have some really powerful videos coming out on Sunday, American time, and Monday. So be watching out for those. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. And I will see you next week. And yes, there will be a celebration for the 100K. There will be a party. So I'm sneaking that out there. But yes, something along those lines. You're on the right track. You're on the right track. I love you guys. You take care.